church. All right, so while they're passing those out, we had a few events that happened in the finance committee. So first off, when I initially started with when we first formed, and Yvette and I started out with the finances and everything. In order for me to be on the account, I had to go through my job and have it approved because I am licensed in investments and things like that. So it was approved back then, but I got an email about 2 months ago, or about a month and a half ago, saying they made a mistake and it was no longer approved. So I had to be removed from the account about 2 weeks ago. So I had to be removed. I met with the finance committee on Sunday, and Terry and I met up and had to remove me from the account. But I met with the finance committee and we discussed it, and so we're going to be searching for a new bank to move the accounts to. So that is the only way that I can operate as the treasurer. It doesn't have to be immediate. I still have access to things and can see it. I mean, I'll be able to see accounts and things like that. So I just won't be able to sign the checks for a short amount of time. So with that said, when I was removed, didn't realize that the QuickBooks was being drafted from the card that I had. So that was rejected, and so QuickBooks was shut down for a short amount of time. I got it back up, and we made the payment and all that. So I was able to print reports today through May 31st. So the 2 weeks in June, I haven't updated it yet. So these reports are through the end of May, and then I'll go in and update it. So those are the things that we're kind of working through with the finance committee. As y'all know, I work for Wells Fargo, and that's what we bank with. And the biggest thing is with all the regulatory stuff going on with Wells Fargo Bank, any compliance things that might have been missed, or they're being more strict around compliance. That's the reason why they kind of came back and said, well, it was approved, but now it's no longer approved. So I just couldn't be a signer on an account that is held within Wells Fargo Bank. I made sure that it was approved before I was added to the account a few years back, but like I said, a couple months ago I got that email. So that's where we are. I'll be researching different banks to see which ones will be able to accommodate the services that we require, and then I will come back with a few options to the finance committee, and then we'll go to the deacons and go from there. So, but that's what's going on with the finance committee. As far as these reports go, so the first page is the statement of financial position. Did anybody have any questions about what I just said, all the stuff that's going on?
Can we use a credit union, or does it have to be a bank?
Not all credit unions cater to businesses. So, and then like services like QuickBooks and things like that, they don't have the capability. So a lot of credit unions they don't have the technology that larger banks will have. So that's another thing. They're lower on fees, but they just don't have the technology that a lot of larger banks will have. So First Citizens is an option that I haven't looked into it, but I know they have like feeless accounts and things like that. But I don't know what that technology looks like. So I have to look into them. And then, of course, Bank of America, PNC is where we pay our rent. So that might be an option for convenience. Convenience. So it's a few options that I'll be looking into, and then I'll just bring it to the finance committee. Once we kind of narrow it down, then we'll go to the deacons for kind of a final word. So.
Eric, can I ask one question?
Yep.
So for folks who don't know, can you mention who are people who are on the finance committee, number one, and number two, since you are temporarily removed from signing, who are able to step in and take that role? These are two parties.
Yep. So the two parties that were already on the account are Annie Omotosho, who is the finance chair, and then Terry, who's the head of the trustees. So those were the two who are on there with me, so they are still remaining, so they have the ability to sign. They both have debit cards. We didn't do the credit card because we knew we'd more than likely be moving, so, we'll do that once we find the next institution. Felicia is, the secretary, for the finance committee. Then we have Charles, Addison, Carlton, Janice, and, Chandra, Locklear, and I think I got everybody, so we still do have signers, so, I think awesome, yeah. Alright, any other questions? Alright, so let's look at the report, so, yeah.
Before you,
Mhm.
before you begin the report,
Yeah.
let me make one correction. Thank you for the information that you just gave us, but I didn't ask you to do the approval of the minutes. We haven't approved the minutes from the last conference, meeting. So we have to have the approval of the minutes before we can move to the reports. Yes, okay. So, after, do you normally read your, okay, would you please? Thank you, I'm sorry.
And we will read, for the minutes, the motions and, whether they carried or not. The, minutes reads as follows: call to order by Deacon Dexter Carpenter. We open with prayer at 7:05. The minutes from the previous meeting of January 31st, 2019 was, motion and accepted and approved, and the motion carried. We had a motion was made to accept Connie Bell as church administrator and Karen Taylor as assistant administrator. Motion, second and carried. We had a motion was made to approve the current and outstanding budgets for the 2019 year. Motion second and carried. A motion was made to use $15,000 from the savings account to checking for the allocation of the 2019 budgets, presented and the expected budgets for the year. Motion second and carried. A motion was made to pay the interim pastor a salary of $2,000 a month. Motion second and carried. A motion was made to accept the finance policy as printed and accept the bylaws with the included amendments and changes. Motion was second and carried. Motion was made to include in the bylaws the terms of service for ministry leaders to have a term of service consistent of at least 24 months and to begin a succession plan at 18 months of service if applicable. Motion was second and carried. And our action item was, follow-up information regarding the nursery. Thank you.
On the section for a motion to be $50,000,
Yes.
allocation of 2019, is that present and expected for the year?
Yes.
You've heard the reading of the minutes, and there was one correction to the minute. There was one correction to the minutes. Do we have a motion?
The correction, we couldn't hear it back here.
Would you repeat that again?
In the section regarding the motion for $15,000 moved from the savings to allocation of 2018 budgets, and it should be present and expected year.
Yes.
You've heard the correction. Are you ready for the question? All in favor of receiving the minutes from the February meeting let there be a show of approval by saying aye. Opposers have the same right. So moved. The minutes stand approved as read. Now let us have our first report, the financial report.
All right, looking at the reports, the first report is our statement of financial position. So this is our current balances, within our account. So, as of May 31st, we had, in the checking account, $24,145.19. In our emergency savings, $104,082.37, and then the operating savings at $10,036.61. So nothing has been moved as far as that $15,000 go. We said we do it as needed. As I go through the later reports, I'll have a little good news for the church. So this just shows that our total is $138,264.17 within our accounts. Now, so this is for May 31st of this year. If you look at the second page, I did the exact same report for May 31st of 2018. And I just wanted to put out a comparison that we are basically at the exact same point financially that we were a year ago. So with all the changes, everything that went on, we are still in pretty much the exact same spot financially. To God be the glory, definitely. So the last two reports the last two pages, I did another comparison, and so the third page is April and May. It is our statement of activity, and our total revenue for April and May came out to be $26,805.66, which comes out to about a little over $13,000 per month, and we ended with a net revenue of $617.56. Now, with that comes with us paying our dynamic new pastor. As well as the expenditures that we made for VBS, the large expenditures that we made through there, and we still came out in the positive. So we've had a good last 2 months. Now the fourth page is January through March, and I compared it because if you look at what we've done the last 2 months at $13,000, a little over $13,000 per month. Well, the first 3 months of the year, we were closer to $11,000 per month. So we are up. The last 2 months, we've been up $2,000 more each month. So the intake has increased. It's pretty much back to where we were before everything happened. So so we are back to where we were. So that's the good news, in that we would basically, without the expenditures for VBS, we would have been operating on about having close to $3,000 in profits per se for the last 2 months, which means we wouldn't have to really use that $15,000 that we actually, if we keep going at that pace, we wouldn't have to use anything from the savings account because we'd be able to accommodate it. So that's the good news that we have for the finances. So giving is definitely up over the last 2 months, and so we just need to keep going on that pace. So.
I'm talking to me, I ain't talking to you. You've heard the reading of the financial report. Is there a motion?
I'm looking at the financial report we received.
Second.
It has been moved and properly second that we receive the financial report. Are you ready for the question? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposers have the same right. Motion carries. Amen. At this time, we shall have our deacon update report.
Good evening, church. The deacon update. The deacon are in the process of updating our membership call list so we can call and get in contact with all our members. And we want our members, if any phone changes, number change, please contact the deacon board or let somebody know, because we don't want to miss out on no members. And plus, if you're sick and somebody in the family sick, notify some of the deacons that we can communicate and get with to the family, or have prayer, or send a card, and anything like that. But the deacons have been going out Can Community the last 2 months with our Reverend Pat Wall, to Sister Jessie and Sister Carla. They have been really blessed by us coming. So we thank the deacon board for being obedient, doing what God has asked us to do. And we are constantly meeting, because we have a lot of meetings, y'all. Y'all just don't see it. But y'all keep praying for this deacon board that we are continuing to do what God has us to do. If there are any questions, Carl said.
I just have a comment.
Okay, ladies first.
Glad to see you guys working in discipline.
Thank you.
We appreciate it, and I certainly appreciate it. Like I was telling you all when you came, I've been here for 18 years, and this is the first time anybody came and brought me from me, or even came and had prayer with me. So
Yeah.
God is good.
Yeah, God is good. Mr. Carr, Miss Esther first.
Question. Oh, go ahead.
Ladies first,
I
Carr.
just wanted to detail, what
Ditto.
You know, thank what Jesse said, it has just, my whole household seems to be more with everything. It just seems like, you know, the Lord just walked in and just kind of calmed a whole lot of situations. It's just wonderful.
Thank you. Now you talk.
I just had a question. As far as new members, when they sign that book out there, is that under responsibility for the deacons to follow?
Notice I thought it was Connie. This is clerk,
New members or
Visitors, excuse me.
the visitors.
Yes, we will, we have created a letter to send to them, a thank you letter, and, we'll be sending them like a card or something like that, inviting them back. And I created a letter and it's been given to, Pastor Wall.
Thank you. Anybody else? Thank y'all.
You've heard the deacon's report. Is there a motion?
Make motion to accept the deacon report as presented.
I'll second it.
It has been moved and properly seconded that we receive the deacon's report. Are you ready for the question? All in favor say aye. Opposers have the same right. The report is received as presented. At this time, we'll have our deaconess update from Deaconess Connie Bell.
Our deaconess, ministry, only have three items. Now that the church is settling down and we're getting kind of grounded, we will be, the deaconess ministry will resume meeting in the month of July. We will, resume the process of, the family contact program where we reach out to the members, as well, and that's also in conjunction with the deacons. We will start having a monthly or bi-monthly meeting with the deacons, to ensure that, all areas of membership are covered. And that is it. Thank you. Any questions? Our deaconess is, I knew somebody was gonna ask that. Our deaconess are myself, Linda Ford, Miss Karen Taylor, Miss Vicki Hinton, Miss Sharon Addison, Miss Essie Moore, and Miss Nadine Chase. So, at any point that, any one of these you can reach out to. We're going to take the membership list and divide it between, the deacons and the deaconesses. And, we will either be calling you individually or teaming up, but, you will have a deacon and a deaconess that you can contact, them or anyone. Everyone's available, so feel free.
Can you say that one more time, the name?
The names are myself, Linda Ford, Karen Taylor, Vicki Hinton, Sharon Addison, Essie Moore, and Nadine, Brown. Thank you.
You've heard the deaconess update. Is there a motion? It has been moved and properly seconded that we receive the deaconess update as reported. Are you ready for the question? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposers have the same right. The motion carried. At this time, we will have a trustee update.
Good evening, New Beginning. I know I'm kind of fidgeting around here with a few things, but I'm kind of doing a couple of things at once. The trustee report, I'm gonna go ahead and start with the first question. The members of the acting trustees are myself, Mr. Grimsley, Glory, David, Haywood, Carlton, and Delton. Those are the acting trustees. The things that the trustees have been doing is we've been supporting the leadership for a number of events, such as the Easter program and the MLK program, Mother's Day. We installed a new toilet in the women's bathroom. We purchased and are currently working on live streaming. We purchased a streaming camera. If you look back there, the little black cylinder is the streaming camera. And if this works, so I have set up a YouTube account under Papa Smurf myself, and I've been playing with it. One of the things I think we're gonna have to do, Bible study from a week ago in the church service, we recorded and have been playing with it to see how it works. And I think we're gonna need to boost the Wi-Fi. So I am going to look for a more powerful Wi-Fi router and probably mount it here in the sanctuary, to try to make that work. And I thought I could cast, what I am, so right now I am recording the church conference. I'm gonna recommend to the deacons that we record the church conference and archive it so that it'll be as a resource for the administrators and the deacons to go back, and be able to retrieve that, and compare to meeting minutes and things like that. But we're still working on that, and I'm hoping here in the next month we'll be able to make an official announcement and stream on Facebook. The streaming camera can stream on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, on all of that, as well as it can record at the same time. So it came in a week ago, and within the hour I brought it to Bible study and was starting to tinker with it. So we're working on that. Other things, we've been working on the website, but that will be discussed a little bit later by Gloria. We've helped facilitate someone gave the church a granite countertop for free, and we've helped to facilitate and acquire that, and she will also talk with you later about cabinets and things. We're trying to upgrade the kitchen and get more cabinet spaces and things, so that is something that the trustees have been involved in. The TVs and projectors. I think you all have probably seen the pictures in the foyer on the TV. Both TVs, both in the foyer as well as in the children's church area, in this projector have had a Google Chromecast installed. And what that will allow us to do, and the leadership, is it allow us to more readily play things and share things on those devices as before. Michelle actually has been using that for over a year, bringing a Chromecast in for her class and playing YouTube videos as part of her Sunday school class, topics related. So I have those pictures that you saw rotating earlier actually as part of the Chromecast. So that is something that we've done and installed. In terms of future items and focus, really it's just going to be a real focus on the cameras and live streaming, the website, and that first and foremost, because that is part of how we're going to get our message out into other people. So that's all I have for right now. Questions, and then Gloria will share some things that she has. Yes.
In reference to the live stream, have we looked into what we need to do in getting the consent forms? I personally don't want my image live streamed, or not saying y'all gonna be focused on the camera on Karen, but I am very sensitive to that, and I may think that others may feel that way, but even if they don't, I know that we need to be having consent from folks before we start putting their images, and I would want us to be proactive in that respect.
Yes. So relative to that, before we proceed and do any true live streaming, that whole situation will have to be addressed. And so I'm just trying to get the equipment together and ready, and from that point, we will have to, the leadership will have to see how they want to bring that forward into the body. So part of the discussion and thing will be is, I think that the live streaming, we're going to try to just focus on the pastor and the service and not the audience at all. If you saw on Sunday, the camera was actually right up here in the center, and it only captured the pastor, the praise team, or the singers, and I think it was either Dexter or Greg's head. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I think it was Dexter's head that was shining right on that. I may have to change the camera location. Actually, I'm thinking, I'm gonna look for a ceiling shelf that we can actually mount it up here like the projector and be able to point it just down here. That way, we won't get any heads and it will just be up that way. But again, that will have to be addressed by the leadership, and we will make sure that however it's done, it's in compliance. So, yes.
So would those live streaming include, like programs and things like that, with the kids and, like Easter programs, and would you be doing things like that, or just sermons?
We're gonna just do sermons as far as I know for right now. We might have other recordings, but live streaming, there will be a process and a clear agreement on anything that's being live streamed. Yes.
My second question, for the recordings, do you think that could be something, that we could either make a DVD or something like that to take for the sick and shut in?
Actually, I think, so what I think will be best, I have yet to propose this to the leadership, is to purchase some cloud space for where all these videos can be stored. I got plenty of space now, I'm storing it on mine, but as I keep recording, I won't have plenty after a while. So what I'm gonna suggest is probably a cloud space, that way the access can be given to the leadership and those that should have authorization, and then they'll be able to can share it. But I mean, that's again something that the deacons and the deaconess, in terms of how they want to go and visit the shed in and share. So, yeah. Yes.
Is there plans for a TV for broadcasting the sermon to that area in the nursery?
So yeah, I got a lot of plans. They cost money. I have asked someone to start looking into TVs on garage sales in places. We need TVs in all these classrooms out back here, along with a DVD player and access, so that it gives a teacher full capabilities to be able to share, as well as the nursery. The nursery, the finance office, definitely needs to be able to receive the service also, and to give much more flexibility in being able to do and handle things. And they don't miss out on the service.
So is that just a matter of having the physical TVs, or is it a matter of connecting them such that the sermon and message can be sent to them, or is it a combination?
It's both. You're gonna have the TV as well as create the means to get that sermon or program to those locations. So there's different ways we can run some cable directly to those, and have outputs from there to run to those TVs, or might be that we can cast it with the Google Chromecast or something, or through the cloud send it to the same spot. So we're going to look at those options and see, but that ultimately is the goal. But even if you were to get Craigslist TVs, it's going to be $100 a piece, maybe, to put in each one of those rooms. And the budget that we had really we trimmed it down to just the essentials, because we didn't know where things were financially. The streaming camera, and just, and minor things. So, but as we move forward, yes, I absolutely, you know, who knows, we may get some gifts of TVs. Yes.
I looked yesterday, I was in Walmart, and they had a 32-inch for $100. And I don't know, this may have to come up later, but that's not bad for TV.
No.
I have a small TV in the home, it's like probably a 20-inch though. And I was just thinking that'd be too small for the nursery,
That'd be too small.
at least a 32-inch. But my question is with that is, with the 15,000, Eric, are we allowed to purchase the television? Or should we hold on? Is that coming out of the nursery budget? Or is that coming out of the trustee budget? Cause I had put it as a line item.
It's undetermined right now, really. I think that we get the web page up, we get recording, be able to stream, start to get the nursery set up, then I think the next phase will be really getting those rooms 100%. And the nursery, that's part of probably getting the nursery 100% along with the other classrooms. Any other questions? Now, let me see if I can. Oh. And you can use the mouse.
Oh, and I hear you talking about that now. I'm sure you
Mm.
Good evening, church. So the website is ready. One of the reasons you've seen me running around, and thank God we have a streaming camera now, recording the sermons and different events and pictures and activities, is because I was looking for content for the website. This website is going to be able to help us find information about our church. People can see worship services. When I go live in the church through Facebook, you can't imagine how many of our members chime in if they're traveling, if they're on the road. I have friends that look forward to Sunday service now, that folks that I don't even think go to church will look and tap into my phone during church services. So whenever I'm here, I'm going live. So, and then there are other people who might check my Facebook page during the week that see the sermons and will leave a message. So it goes beyond this building, and that's what we need to do, is start getting our outreach program together so that we can bring more people in and keep that bank account just the way it is, or better. But it will also help us to get donations, because we can, with our Givelify app, we can donate in several ways through our website, through your phones, and actually through coming to service. And it also allows us to ask for volunteers, and it also will have sermons, videos, and a photo gallery. If you are right now in the witness protection program, or you don't want your image shown anywhere, let me know, and what we have already posted, or what we have here on the site, I can pull it down. But you know, the problem with that is when you do things like we did with the Black History program and things where the kids are involved, it's a problem when some kids are in it and their parents are fine with it and other parents aren't, because you take a group shot and everybody's in it. So trying to decipher how to photograph who and whom not to photograph is a little bit dicey. But on the first page,
Is it responding?
sometimes I also get lost.
There you go.
There it is. Okay, so this is the home page, and the home page has a picture of the church. You scroll down, it tells you our mission, upcoming events. We have the graduation ceremony on here. We're gonna be loading up the sermons, the Givelify. Just at a glance, this is all on the first page. We can make donations, and I lost it again. There you go. So that's just as soon as you come into the site, you'll know when you find it because you will see the church pop up first. And this www.newbeginningchristianfellowship.org, there's a whole lot of New Beginning churches out here. So you can pull up your phone right now and go to your browser and type in, because not only is this available on the computer, you can access everything through your phone if you put in New Beginning Christian Fellowship Church through your browser. Under the About Us section, so y'all be popping up when you see your face. We have our beliefs, our vision, our interim pastor, the church profile. This was part of the information that was given out when we had the committee looking for a pastor. Our church profile was already distributed, so I used this version because this was the version that has already been put out in the public. Kind of hard to see it because it's darker background. I could lighten that up, but it talks about a local community, our church life as it is now, our church vision. We have videos on there from the male choir to Christmas events to praise dancing. If you go to ministries, it will tell you about the ministries that we have: the children's church, dance ministry, the men's ministry, the women's ministry, hey Felicia, music ministry, and the drama ministry. And you can click on any of those links and get sign up for if you are interested in joining. They'll send an email to the church clerk, who will let the rest of the ministry leaders know who's interested. What's happening, and these are just photos that have been taken over time. This talks about our church conference, the meeting that's going on tonight. Our Roar VBS, you can click on there and register for VBS, as well as Father's Day celebration on Sunday, and then other upcoming events. These are just things I put in there for example. Ladies' night, for the women's ministry, the church picnic that we may have sometime this summer, another church meeting that we might have this quarter, and then a men's fellowship. This was just example of what we can use the additional space for. Under the Connect tab, you're able to, it's a reminder about announcements, and then there's serving opportunities. If we're needing volunteers for the nursery, if, it says see this Sister Dashi. If we need items for Vacation Bible School, it tells you who to see about that. Volunteers for Vacation Bible School. We need choir members. All of those things are there under the Connect, so that we can not only bring people to the church, but get them connected with ministries and get them involved in doing things. This tab is just a visit us, is for anybody that's visiting our site that wants to know about our worship service, the times, the prayer meeting, the Bible study, our contact information, our email address, where we're located on the map. That's all under the Visit Us tab. Then under Donate, it tells you, how can you donate? And you're able to select 3 ways. We said each one must give as he's decided in his heart, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver, 2 Corinthians 9-7. So we can donate in person, we can click on here and give with the Givelify app, or we can also click on here and do it online, because it'll link right to the Givelify. And then the app, I have the app on my phone, and that's how I donate every week, is I just pull it up and it keeps track of what you've given and keeps me from having to look for my checkbook. Then we have a section for sermons and videos, and we got our illustrious, excited, energetic interim pastor, and if you click on this goes right into Sunday's, service. Let me take got the,
I turned the sound off, because I was thinking it may have been feedback. Click on it, go there.
Yeah, right.
so if you miss service now, it's Terry's streaming service, and he's, giving me the video, we can upload the video to the website. So if you miss service, I don't have to record them anymore, or put them on my Facebook page. I was just doing that to get access to people who wanted to see it. So now it's on the website that you can go there and do that. And then we also have other videos, of the men's choir, our dance ministries, drama ministry stuff. So all videos, that I've recorded, not all of them, but some of them are here. And then we have photo gallery. And we have photos from Christmas, go right across, and, Coop took a bunch of pictures. A lot of these pictures came from him. He took pictures of some of the families during Easter, during Christmas, during the Mother's Day event. We have pictures of a little bit of everything going on here. And like I said, if you, don't wanna be on any of these pictures, they can come down as easy as they went up, so just let me know if you see something that you want not to be on there when you go home and look through the site. But we do have, a lot of events and activities, and these are the things that are gonna, bring people to our church. I mean, we can't always have the access or the ability to have them in the actual building. But this is a beginning for letting folks know where we are, who we are, what our church culture is, and some of the things that we have going on. So the site is ready. I'm still tinkering with a couple of little items to get them, perfect. And, but we can, like I said, you can put this URL in your phone. And when you get on your phone to go to the different pages, there's those 3 lines at the right-hand corner. Just click on that, and then it'll drop down with all the titles, and you can click on whichever title you want to scroll down to. So we're moving along and making progress. Any questions? Karen, I saw your hand.
Yeah, and, I think it looks very nice, and, it is a very lovely, job that was put together. And with the, witness protection one and the, other one, and also, once it's put in the public domain, especially for the minors, like when they were doing the debate, they argued a point for one side or another, and I could see that kid running for president, so I guess it won't make a difference. Cause you can say anything and still run for president, but, it could easily be taken out of context and whatnot too, with just the video clip, so we do have to really make a, concerted effort to, do that.
I completely understand your concern.
Can we do a
will
non
definitely be
for that program? Oh, no, I just asked and I thought we did, but that's a Malachi.
We put a disclaimer on, the Facebook page that this was a dramatization and this was not the actual, comments from, the kids, it was just a dramatization. But, I understand, I understand.
I was gonna ask the question, can we add, like I know from my hometown, people maybe just request prayer through a website. They can send an email, they may be requesting prayer.
If you go to
I think that's on the bottom of
Is it
one
there?
of the pages, isn't it?
there's a contact us, about us, you can always send an email to the church if you have something, some kind of request, you have a question, there's a place on there where you can send an email and we'll put on this thing.
Yeah, I think the chief is asking about having something on the website where people can request prayer. That's a little more inviting versus the email.
Yeah,
I thought
if
when
you
that's the
click
first-
on this, it'll take you to the, email for the church that will go to New Beginning CFC Gmail. So that one-way reach out. I don't know why that came up with you, Terry, but we'll figure that one out.
It brought up my outlook, that's all it worked out.
Hey Gloria, I
Mhm.
thought that Melissa put a section on the bottom of one of the pages regarding, for prayer. So
Okay.
if we may have that in there,
I haven't seen that.
okay, I thought it specifically
I moved
said
around,
prayer.
we had a web designer do the base, but, you know, we had to populate it and move some things around to get everything to fit, so. But I'll see if there's a place where we can add that feature.
Since you're there, Gloria, click on the next tab over,
Up, down, where?
church conference, at the very top. Next, church conference,
Oh, all the way up.
yeah. That one.
So here we are. Live streaming.
Well, it's not public, but that is,
It's behind. You'll see it there.
Right a few minutes behind, I was gonna say.
it's actually switching, so that's, the streaming camera, you can set up static locations and it rotates through them.
Oh, okay.
So I had one on the projector, I created one for the screen, and then one from where people are standing. And
Cool. I love technology, I can just play stuff all day long.
Got some questions over here.
Okay, I'm coming this way. Miss Jessie?
I just had a comment on your welcome page.
Mhm.
You were talking about, there are multiple new beginning, churches.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way to put the church address
Yeah, that's the
on?
Yeah, the address is down, I mean, it's in several places, our church address, under
I mean,
visit
when
us.
you first look at it, that's what you see as the building, and a lot of people don't know this area,
Okay.
and we don't have any signs other than what's on the building.
maybe something about it.
So you mean where the photo is?
Me right
Like
there.
our logo.
Gary
Right,
Logan
right.
on.
Well, what I really want in this,
Top left.
we need to take another picture of everybody. The picture that we took in the blue shirts looked really nice for this, new beginning thing that we took a while ago. But because I'm not putting any old pictures, it's gonna be pictures from December, January going forward, cause I don't wanna invade the privacy of people who may not be here anymore. So, I was gonna ask Cooper, we could get another picture of the whole church, like we had standing in front of the building, to replace this picture. But, I'll see if we could put, like right under New Beginning Christian Fellowship Church, Cary, North Carolina. Yeah, okay. Alright, yeah, that's easy enough to do. Gotcha.
Do we have to have everybody in the picture, cause that still may change? Right, do we have to do another group picture? I mean, I know it's nice, but that may change.
Yeah.
Then, can we just add the address, which I just said, maybe up a little higher where that logo is?
Mm-hmm.
And then, is it possible,
There's the address down here.
yeah, but you can hardly.
But I know if you look at the building, you know it's our church.
Yeah, but if you're not from this area,
Okay. Okay.
if you're not from this area,
I could put it up here too.
yeah, like right there where that, kinda,
Where the blue is?
yeah,
Okay.
that light of blue, yeah, right there.
Yeah, that's the sky. Okay.
And then, I don't know if this is possible, but in speaking with what Karen was saying, we may have people that visit our website that may not want their kids. I don't know if we can password protect, where we can post certain things on the website, but put like a disclaimer there due to, children. Pictures, they're not posted, but if you, as a member, if I want to see it, I can put a password in, and then it will pop up. I don't know if that's,
Yeah.
When you go to a lot of other, websites for other churches, you don't, necessarily see, I especially don't see the children, direct shot images, and a lot of them, they don't show you all the congregation, because if, you might be making a lot of assumptions about who these people are and what they look like and everything else, as may not be necessary to get your message by, but just look at some other sites, and a lot of them, you don't see the, like, they don't show the whole congregation, from that front angle, and they'll show the pulpit, and they'll have the message, and they'll have the service, but they don't show them kids, and they have, a lot of times even use stock photos. Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it, I've seen a couple of websites, I go across a couple of websites now, and I see people in them, kids, everybody, but for those people that maybe somebody in witness protection, or somebody moving around, I think we do need to.
There's some other questions on this side, I didn't get on that side of the room.
I was gonna piggyback off of what she said, so I used to do web pages a long time ago, very, very long time ago. And what we used to do is every page you clicked on, it has like a menu on the side, on the left side. So every page you click on, you see the time, the service, and the address. So no matter what page you click on, you don't have to scroll. See all that real estate you have on the top right? Even on the left, you can put the
Constant banner.
right, the service time and the address. That way, no matter what page you go on, you constantly see that, because we want people to come, and we don't want them to have to keep looking for this. That was,
Okay.
I just wanna say you've done a beautiful job.
Exactly.
This is just the first
We should be rejoicing right now for what we have just heard. I'm gonna make a call for a motion in just a second, but, you have comments about how you think this can be better, work better. I suggest you go directly to Gloria and Terry and confer with them to help expedite time, because we'll keep popping up with more, things, and we don't wanna rush into something. We wanna thoroughly look at something, because you can also make people stay at home by doing a whole lot of live streaming too. So we need to be very mindful of what we are trying to embark upon. So at this time, we'll entertain a motion to receive the trustee report. It has been moved and properly second that we receive the trustees' report. Are you ready for the question? All in favor say aye. All opposed have the same right. The motion carries. At this time, let us entertain the Christian education update.
All right, I know I'm between you and your dinner plate, so I'm gonna make this quick. All right, if you need this, I gave the soft copy to Ms. Connie, and she can distribute it to you by electronically if you need so. All right, I'll be talking about Christian education. We had a great, successful Black History Month. We did the debate, we did the presentation with the drama ministry, and we did the spirituals. Those were awesome. I really enjoyed doing those. We've had the graduation, and I am remiss because I didn't thank Stephanie Ward for all her hard work that she did for the graduation. Let's give her a round of applause. And the good news about all of that, guys, is that we did that all under budget. So I was really pleased with that. We were under budget with that. Hold that, put your finger right there for a second. All right. So we have added a second Sunday school class for grades 6 through 12. And we've added 6 new teachers to the roster. We've added Felicia Cooper, Ronald Grimsley, Yvette Carpenter, Kim Slade, Sharon Addison, and Carlton Coleman. Let's give a round of applause for that. All right. Moving forward, ministers will instruct the adult class, the theologian class. That is an effort to enhance our ministers, getting them ready to do the next thing. Currently, that's Minister Greer and Minister Henri. They're on a 4-week rotation, so they will do 4 weeks, and then the other will do 4 weeks on the lesson plan. Any new ministers we get will be added to that rotation. All right. In August, we are looking to try and launch a young Christian class. 'Cause right now, for the adult class, we got right out of high school all the way up. So we want to, just like we did with the smaller kids, we want to do that with the high school. I think it was high school to about 26, 27, and we'll flesh that out. Now, the great thing about growth is you're growing. The other thing is there are costs that weren't budgeted. Right now, if you're a teacher, we provide you with a commentary. So that's 6 new commentaries that were not budgeted. So I'll have to roll that in. Remember, I said we were under budget on the other stuff. So hopefully that will equal out. But if not, I'll bring it to you guys. All right, we will be putting forward an order for our new commentaries. Our commentaries right now go through September 1st. That's the last lesson. And so for 2019-2020, we'll be putting that forward and bringing that to you. Each quarter, if you notice our books, each quarter it's a different topic. The topics for 2019 and 2020 are faith for the first quarter, worship for the second quarter, justice third quarter, and wisdom fourth quarter. And that's how that will do. Changes for Children's Church. Starting July 1st, Children's Church will only be on 2nd, 3rd, and 5th Sundays. On first Sunday, we do communion, and they sing on fourth Sunday. Just don't have enough time to really get them back there, get them settled, and get into a significant learning process. And the cutoff age will be 14. So Children's Church will be for 13 and below, beginning July 1st. All right. Summer ministry events. Obviously, we got VBS coming up June 24th and 20 through 28th. The topic is Life is Wow, God is Good. Now, the church voted to approve the budget raise from the $500 it was to $2,250. That's already been approved. The good news about that is any supplies we don't use, we can send back for a full refund. Registration is key. I'm understanding that registration isn't going as robust as we would like. We need to get that registration up. All right. We are advertising on the Light, and I will also add an advertisement on WRAL. They will allow me to do that, so hopefully that will get the word out some more. Anything you wanted to add? Anything you wanted to add for BBS?
No, just register.
Register.
We got about 5 kids registered, and we know we got more than 5 kids here.
We're going to have a lot more than that show up. All right. Next thing we'll have is Church in the Park. Church in the Park is scheduled for Sunday, July 21st at Bond Park. That's right there off of High House Road. We will have the Kiowa Shelter, which houses, it's a coverage shelter, houses 200 people. They were very particular. They said we cannot have over 200 people. So this one we cannot advertise. Apparently they had an incident where somebody advertised and they looked up and there's 1,000 people at Bond Park. So we can only have the 200 people. We're authorized to have power. We can sing. We can play music. The men will bring the meat. The sides will be brought by everyone else. Also in July, which is a budget item, we will open up the Shepherd's General Store. That'll be that area that's right there in front of the nursery. It'll be our reward program for the kids' participation and learning during Sunday school. That's what it was designed for. In July, date to be determined. In July. During Sunday school, they'll be given Bible bucks, which they can use to buy treats from the Shepherd's General Store. Youth Explosion in July as well. We'll have a Wade in the Water party. That will be ministered by Miss Carpenter and Miss Hinton and Miss Stephanie Ward. The breakouts will be for the girls. Miss Joy will be doing the breakout. It'll be for the girls. The title will be Girl Power, and Mr. Hinton will be doing the hero call for the boys. They will also be doing an outreach, possibly going to the Durham Rescue Mission. The topic for that will be serve the least. This is going to reinforce the principle of service. Those two events are scheduled tentatively for July. Ms. Carpenter's not here, so as we move forward, we will, as we get closer, we'll let you know when those dates are. You will give you at least a 3-week notice. So that means at least third. Yeah, you got it. And last but not least, still in planning, we are planning to do the Singularly God's Gift. That's the singles workshop. That'll be a 1-day event. That'll be like a Saturday afternoon at a fun location. Miss Taisha, Miss Moore, and Miss Joy have volunteered to lead that. And the One in the Spirit marriage workshop, that's going to be a 2-day event. It's going to be something like dinner Friday night, then a workshop Saturday afternoon, and that one's going to be led by the Hintons. All right, those are the activities that are going to be second quarter for Christian Ministry. Yes, sir. First question. Yes, sir.
You forgot one minister for the rotation. First lady is a minister too. For the minister rotation Sunday school.
Sister Wall. Sister Wall, are you Sister Wall, you gonna submit to that? All right. So we got 3 ministers that'll be in the rotation. We got 3 ministers. Yes, sir.
Just a correction on the budget thing. So we were under budget on one thing, but we don't reallocate to the other thing.
Put your finger on that.
So anything we need to buy for the new teachers, if it's within the approval limit of the deacons, they can approve it.
If not, we'll bring it to you. It shouldn't be too much.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to put that out there.
You like that. All right. Yes, sir.
The pastor and the deacons, will they get a new book?
Actually, this year they actually have a special book just for the pastor, and they got special books just for teachers. That's why it's different than yours. It goes really in depth. It's really expounds on the word. So you get your own special pastor's book. The deacons, you get teachers' books along with the teachers. All right. If the budget allows. Yes, ma'am. Correction, yes, ma'am. You're an existing teacher?
Yeah, she and I been working together.
Well, you started teaching this quarter, yes? Actively? No? She's always been a teacher? Alright, she's always been a teacher. But I appreciate you actively participating. I love it. You're right. Robert, I did that for you. Robert Griffin. Yes, sir.
Christian education, back in the back room. You said up to 14. What's the
13 and below. 14 be out here.
What's the minimum age? Youngest.
So, what is your nursery cut? Because you're coming up here next. So, what is your nursery cutoff?
I believe it's
4. So 5.
5
to I'll take a grown 5 to 13 back there. Grown 5 to 13, I'll take. Under that, nursery. Grown 5. Grown 5. I'll take a grown 5 to 13. All right. Any other questions about the Christian Ed? So the last part of Christian Ed, on your docket, you see that she had something about the nursery.
Just before she comes up, in all fairness to the person who's presenting their report, let them present the report before you want to ask a question, or wait until they finish their report, and then if you have to, just jot it down so they can stay on the roll because they have it already prepared, and so you kind of throw them off when you interrupt them, all right?
Yeah, that's right.
Good evening, church. I'm gonna be real short. I didn't realize I was up here, but the nursery, we're trying to head up the nursery. Myself and Deacon Waller and Charles, we have put out the communication that we're looking for volunteers. Probably will operate second, third, and first Sundays, and it will be for the age 18 months to 18 months. to 5 years old. So get the word out. I'm not officially the leader, but when we get started, we're going to try to do it in July. Don't have an exact date. In my mind, I'm visioning maybe the second Sunday in July. You may see me come off the praise team and go back to the nursery and watch the kids. So we're gonna be multitasking, but we need it. I know. But we gotta do what we gotta do. Yeah, I mean, as y'all know, as you can see, we are having people bring their kids. And we need a space for them. And I brought in some toys today. We have purchased a table. I have purchased some other items over the week, and we're working on the supplies, and I think Gloria's brought in a couple of things. If you have things at home that are for nursery, bring it in. We don't have a lot of space, so don't bring a whole lot, but we're trying to get that up. We've been tugging with that for about 2 years now, so that's the only update I have. We're looking for volunteers, we're looking for a leader for it, and hopefully we'll get it up and running second Sunday. And we are, as they said with VBS, we're going to have a preschool, and we have some preschoolers for VBS as well.
Which Sundays was those again?
I had first, second, and we're going to say third, but we may have to start out with just 2 Sundays out of the month, so it may be the first and the third. It just depends on how many volunteers we have.
And one last thing, on the serious note, that nursery is very, very, very important because, I'm a trooper. I'll take them. But having little ones in children's church is very disruptive. The older kids aren't getting what they need because I'm holding hands with the little ones. So if anybody has it on their heart to take over that, to launch it, do we have any volunteers tonight?
I'll help that because I would rather help her than her get off from the praise team. She needed there.
Amen. Put that down in the notes. Put that down in the notes. Thank you. All right. Oh, and last thing, Bond Park was nice enough to let us get the whole shelter for $70. So yeah, so that's savings. Amen.
You've heard the Christian Ed education update. Is there a motion?
I motion to accept the Christian education update. I second.
It's been moved and properly second that we receive the Christian education update. Are you ready for the question? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed have the same right. It has been received. At this time, old business. Do we have an old business?
I just wanted to know where we stood with the bylaws and the finance policy. Are those done deals now? Are they completed? Are we still reviewing? Where do they stand?
The bylaws were approved in finance policy and bylaws were approved in a previous meeting. I can't remember if it was the January or the February.
They were approved in the February.
And so that's settled. There was some corrections that needed to be made, and those have been made also, and the clerk now has a copy of that.
And the question about old business, so did we finish, I'm looking for, affiliation, how you're looking at that with affiliation, things of that nature, have you finished researching that?
We're gonna work with, Pastor Wall on that.
Any other old business? New business?
Well, I just want to make a comment. Thank all the parents who helped with their kids, enrolling them in the ACT and SAT. We did that. We participated in work in association with Watch Chapel Church in Raleigh. The ACT was a free course, and we had 8 students from here who participated in it. It was an all-day, Saturday function, so they did very well. They enjoyed that, and there was a lot of good feedback from the students about that. The SAT prep course was a 3-day course event over a week of Monday, Tuesday, and a Thursday. And, so they took a actual prep test and they got the results back and had an individual, feedback from the, Dr. Ecker, who's a, professor, and he actually does that for free. He's booked up, I've heard of him before and tried to get him to do projects, whatever, and he's booked up like almost 2 years in advance. So, to be able to have access to have him at the rate that they provided for us was an awesome deal. And, the deacons actually helped sponsor some of the registration costs for that. That was a paid event for the SAT, so I just wanna thank the parents for help participating, bringing their kids out to participate with that. They're gonna do it again, they already have the full schedule throughout the next year. And the next one is the SAT prep course in October. So, that'll be a 3-day event.
So let's give God another hand for praise. God is doing some awesome things at New Beginning. Come on now, y'all better get on board. I'm telling you, you exercise your faith. When you exercise your faith, God moves. God moves.
I just want to say a positive in relation to what he's saying. It's important what he's doing because I administered the SAT the first month, for the first week in this month, I think it was. We were not seen. Over at Browton, it was about, I think she said over 1,000 students took the SAT or some form of that test. We were not represented. We need to be.
My brothers and sisters, I said, and I'll say it as often as it needs to be said, we are responsible for what doesn't happen. That we have to stand up and speak out on issues that are important. Amen? So we can't pass the buck on somebody else. We have to take responsibility for the things that we're responsible for. Amen? Thank you so much. That is so excellent. Our children are our future. We got to invest in them. Amen? Amen. New business. Come on.
I actually forgot because I got so involved in the website, but I wanted to give you an update on the kitchen, and maybe it's because I'm the only female trustee. There's certain things that just gets on my nerves, like all that stuff that's exposed in the kitchen. We were gifted this beautiful granite countertop, and to put it on top of what's in there now, number one, I don't know if it would support it, and number two, you can't put a brand new countertop on whatever's going on in there. So, I've gotten 2 quotes. I have one quote for white cabinets, because the countertop is like a black with dark color with white flecks and things in it. For the counter, to have bottom cabinets, top cabinets over the sink, cabinets going toward the stove, top and bottom, and then on that side over there where it's just shelving, it's just top counters at the top. The first quote was like, and they did give us a discount for being at church, but it's a whole bunch of cabinets. And the first quote was like $2,500, and Dexter had a hookup with one of his customers who comes to the barber shop. So we went and looked at some other cabinets at another location, and they were like $500 cheaper. So we have 2 quotes, one about $2,500, one about $2,000, but it would kind of finish off that kitchen. Our granite piece, luckily, God is good. We got neighbors right here that do granite and stone and stuff. So when I got that gifted piece of granite, I called them next door, and they came and picked it up, and they're holding it for us, and they're going to retrofit it in the area that we needed in there to go along with it. It'd be great to have that done before VBS, because we're going to have a lot of people coming in. Probably won't happen because we're so late now, but this summer we're going to have people coming in for all kinds of events, church picnic, and when they come in, we want to kind of look professional and nice, and we don't have cabinets like that at home. I know I don't. So let's not have them here in God's house. So I just wanted to put out there that we were looking at that. And the other thing that I've been looking at is some flags similar to the ones that the other church has. Those flags, we were going to get them before but the location was the issue because there are a lot of rules that the town of Cary has about where you can locate those flags. So, got a couple of spots that I think will be on our property and not on the city, easement, so that's another thing that I'll be bringing a quote to the deacons for is, some kind of marker so that people know where we are. That's all needed.
Gloria, will you be, creating a budget and sending it out so we can approve it for, at the next meeting, or?
The deacons have the quotes, they can decide how they wanna present it.
For the cabinets, I meant for the cabinets.
Are we trying to get the cabinets done before VBS?
The cabinets are in stock, we just need to stay, yes.
Justin said he can have it done in a week.
The sink, we have the sink, you see the sink is laying in there. I have residents that, in new homes, and they move in and they're like, oh, I don't like the color of my thing, I'm gonna get a new one. So they basically were just looking for a way to get rid of it. So we got the sink, the counter, all we have to do is purchase a faucet and then some cabinets to support it, and,
So do we need to make a motion for it then?
I'm not in charge, that's the deacon. Dexter's the deacon, you got the quote, they've all, I've given the quote to everybody, so they have it.
And that's the quote for the cabinets, we still have to install them, right?
Yes, the ones that have the cheaper route price are already put together, so at least you don't have to put them together, they're coming out the box already ready, it's a matter of now.
Or you have a sheet for the
Latest estimate?
That's your copy. I didn't know I was doing that.
Same one I gave to you.
I might have it in the car.
Oh, you have it?
It's about $2,000 around ballpark. It's right at 2,000, might be
Okay, while she's getting that, the deacons had an opportunity to review the two, estimates that came in. Like she said, it's like $500 difference, and we approved to bring the lowest, bid to the church for, approval to move forward on that. So wait for her to bring that back.
And that's the bid for the cabinets, or the cabinets and the install of the cabinets?
That's cabinet and install. As far as the, Terry setting,
That does not, the actual install of the cabinets, I don't think is included. We have to contract to get them actually installed.
all right. So my recommendation is that once a full estimate comes in, what we have is for the cabinets and, for the cabinets only, for the install, for the, faucet and everything else, and then that can be, presented back to the church. We can do a vote, after service or something like that. That's my suggestion on this, because right now we're not there.
Okay, and those would be, attached to the property, and they would remain when our lease is. Yep.
Terry, was you getting ready to say something?
No.
Okay, we'll wait till Gloria comes back. In the meantime, there will be a leadership training program for all leadership, for all ministries and those that desire to be in leadership. That is forthcoming. That will be announced. That date is to be announced. A leadership training conference for the body. Also, while we're waiting, I heard you say that, Terry, you're going to video or record all the conference meetings.
I think we should, yes, I'm
For-
recording this one now,
Right, for archives purposes.
archives.
Yes. And I was going to suggest that from here on out, all reports be written and submitted to Connie so that it's easier for her to have a paper copy instead of trying to remember everything everybody says. So when you get ready to do your reports from, here on out, we recommend that you do a written report, submit that in to the church clerk. Amen.
Amen.
Because over time, we what? Forget things, don't we? Yeah, okay. So have we allocated money for this project?
No.
No.
Okay, let's table this until we get everything in place and then we move on. Amen.
Amen.
Any other new business? Yes.
I just have one announcement, this is for the, on behalf of the music ministry, the youth rehearsal will be on Wednesday, so parents, the leadership has agreed and Pastor Walls to allow it on Wednesday, so bring the kids out on Wednesday. We're gonna have they'll have Bible study, we will have a short Bible study, and we will have choir rehearsal. So, for the youth children's choir, and we'll start next week.
So which Wednesday is this?
It'll be
First, second,
third Wednesday before the fourth Sunday. Kids sing on fourth Sunday?
So instead of practicing that Saturday, they'll do it that Wednesday.
Yes, so that has been did kind of a poll with the parents, and that was the biggest request. Okay. So y'all come out next week for Bible study and bring the children.
Any other new business? Next, church conference will be September the 18th. Next church conference, September 18th. At this time, we will close with prayer and adjournment.
Let us pray.
Let us stand.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for coming in the midst of this meeting, Father God, that all of us was on one accord. We thank you, Father God. Thank you for the leadership of this church, Father God. Let us continue to do your work and build your temple, Father God. Bless us as we leave this place, Father God. Give us safe travel mercy to from here. Let us arrive home. Let everything be A-okay, Father God. In the name of Jesus, all that's in thy name. Amen.
Amen. Have a good evening. Look forward to seeing you Sunday. Yes.
Okay. I'll be here early.